All right. Perfect timing. Recording in practice. I'm gonna work on my voice. There's actually a couple small things that I might be able to get help on while we're here. But essentially, this is like a login for um, like a content login for us for people to get like access to like coaching classes that we do for members at Deal Machine. And the whole idea is just that they're right now that's gated to like a certain group of people that they have to go live, and we've got like a stagnant URL that just no one knows that's technically where it's all hosted, but it's not gated. So I'm building this to where it's actually a gated login that we can give them a specific login to it. Gotten pretty far. I don't think I'm that far off, but I was like, it would be really cool if people were able to favorite the content and refer back to it, or we could log in and favorite it for them and say, hey, go watch these videos. Not too dissimilar to kind of how you guys operate in Discord. And so I have, this is actually a new issue here. I don't know what's going on, but I've only got one class created so far, but this function currently does the favorite action if I click it based off the current user that's logged in. Again, that's what I think I know how to fix that element so it's interactive and responsive to when it loads. But what happens now, I go to, I haven't created the URL there yet, but I go to this favorite library. Well, what was happening before was like it was showing up, and then this was like the deselect. If I clicked it again, it was supposed to deselect and delete the record. And before, now it's like coloring it. I don't know why it's doing that.
That's a Zoom bug. I keep getting that happening and it won't even, are you able to click on anything right now? Like anywhere on your, okay, it still works. Zoom sometimes is taking over my computer. I've noticed, like I'm showing my screen and it'll start doing this weird thing of the colors changing. And then I can't click on anything and I have to stop the video, like stop showing my screen and restart showing my screen. Just so if it happens in the middle, you might just like stop and start.
Gotcha. Okay. Good to know. Yeah, it's interesting. So now it doesn't seem like it's loading them at all anymore. But before, like I was able to click it, it loaded it. It loaded the favorite, and so it looks like now it's like loading. It's creating the records of the favorites. Now it's just not loading them. So this was before it showed up, and I clicked it, and then it like deleted the course content that was associated with that favorite, but it didn't delete the actual like square or the star that was for the favorite.
Can you show us that the favorites page in the studio here where you're getting the list of stars on it?
Yes. So favorites page is here.
Cool. So in there, what's the data on that grid list?
The data set on data from grid list is classes.
Okay.
Maybe it should be actually the favorites. That's what it should be.
Yeah, I think that should be the favorites. And then get all fields there. Make sure you choose get all fields on it. And then what you'll do, so now what you're going to get is a list of all the favorited things, but you want a list of just the favorited ones of this user, right? So go, yep, right. Perfect. Throw a filter on there. You can also use, just so you know, you can use created by in there as well. It'll work the same. Okay. When I do this, I usually don't push the user ID because the created by is also the same, you know?
Yeah.
And so you can use that to pull it in.
So would I just do created by current users still then?
Yep. Yep. Okay. Exactly like that. And the nice thing about that is it's something where that data, the created by, can't be modified, right? So whereas the user ID field value could technically be modified, right? And it's unlikely anyone would do that, right? That somebody's going to like try to hack the favorites or something. But in general, I tend to do that.
Okay. So this is definitely loading correctly now. So I guess two questions I have here then. How do I eliminate duplicate favorites? I think maybe the setup that they showed me might take care of the duplicate issue that I haven't been able to look at yet.
Yeah, when you basically the trick is that on the page, anywhere where you're favoriting, where they're able to click that star, you'll want to have a condition on there, or maybe a switch or a condition, depending on what you're doing. In this case, it would just be a condition to check to see if there is a favorite record for this class for that user. And if there is, then run a flow that shows the favorited icon. And if not, run a flow that shows the unfavorited, the not favorited icon. And then usually what I'll do is actually have two totally separate icons, and I'm hiding and showing them.
Okay.
And the reason I do that is because then on those two icons, I can have a flow to favorite if it's not favorited, and a flow to unfavorite if it is favorited. And I'm basically just adding a record or deleting a record, right? So when they unfavorite, what I'm actually doing is deleting that record, the favorite record, completely out of the database.
How do you so I had something similar where it was just like it was adding and changing the interactions on the click. I guess I couldn't figure out how to go look up that specific record to delete it.
You'll basically,
the only thing I've ever done deleting is in a grid list, and so I couldn't figure out.
What you'll do is an update record action.
Okay.
And the first field to map is the ID, and then get the ID of the record from, it depends on the context you're in, but because you just set the grid list, it should be like current record field value ID, right? Because you're inside of that row. I think you could also actually use, in this case, in here, because the grid itself is the favorites. Well, it depends on what's actually, I don't know what's displaying that star.
That's a inside of the grid list for favorites is another grid list.
Got it.
Actually, sorry. It's the whole thing is like a grid list, again, loaded with the favorite element. And then we load a separate grid list to display all the class details. And then underneath that is this star.
So in the context of that, you're on a favorite, right? Like you're on a favorite record, basically. That's the context of that row. And so you could actually here just use the normal delete. So because you're inside the context of the record. So you could use the delete action in this case.
Yep. That's what I have, I think, correct here. What I don't know is how to, on the page, like this is an action.
This one, we're not in there. Yeah.
This is just this is just that icon thing. I don't know how to identify the proper record to update.
Yep. What you would do, so if you go into the studio there on that page where they can see that star. Yeah, so on here. So what I would do is have well, you can do it in two different ways. You said that you already have a condition that checks if it's favorited, and you're setting interactions based on that already?
That's where I got stuck. I couldn't, on the load, I think his walkthrough showed me what I needed to do on the load. What I was doing was not working, but I do have the flows created to, in theory, mark as favorite, add the style class, and set the interaction. So I've got that like kind of back and forth set up at the moment.
And then that interaction will set an action to like unfavorite it or delete that record, right? So in that flow, if you go in there, we can just set it up. So this is good. You're setting the if it's favorited or not, or hiding, showing, whatever you're doing. So let's add another action here for update record, and select the favorites collection. And then the first field to select would be ID. So this is where we're going to figure out how to get the context of whether this user is favorited or not. So in the same way on the page load, you're going to do a condition on the page load that says, for this class, for this user, do we have a record, right?
Yeah.
And the same thing needs to come here. So what you'll do is in the new value, change the type to data collection. Yep. And favorites. Yep. And then on the fields, you're going to choose just the ID of the favorite. So what we're going to do is go get the ID of the favorite as the thing that needs to be deleted. And then we'll add a filter here. And this will be where, where the created by is the current user ID. And then add another filter. So add a field to that filter. And we'll do where the class ID, in this case, is probably current record field value ID, because we're inside the class.
It should.
So I think he has that it's in the query string, right? Because it's a direct route.
I think it is a direct to. I think I set the variable too, but
because that's a page, it's a route. It's not being served up by a grid.
But it should still have this. That was actually
I think it's still set because I've got other things that I've run with this type of structure.
Yeah, and that used to not work, Dorian. Because the record context from a URL route wasn't being set into the main root page.
And now it sets the ID.
Darrell actually fixed that. I can't remember if it was in this last release or the one before that, where we it actually sets all the IDs properly in that root page now.
Gotcha. Cool.
And then the last thing you want to do here is set the number of records to return to 1 and change the JSON array data format to be comma separated. So basically, if you have JSON array, it's going to return a JSON of the whole thing. And by doing it comma separated, it's going to return literally only the fields that you select to return comma separated. So in this case, you only have 1, so it'll just be the ID itself. And then now that we've got all of that set up, map one more field below and choose the deleted field or deleted. There we go. And then the new value here is 2. So deleted 2 forces it will go into the database and permanently delete that record completely. Okay. Yeah, and I actually have a similar to I have it on my list to make an action that does the deleted, where all you're providing is the record context, and then it just permanently deletes. But for now, deleted 2 does the exact same thing.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that should do it. That should basically go in, find the favorite that is for this user, for this class, and mark it deleted, which will delete it permanently from the database. And then the last step you'd want to do here, nest another flow inside of this flow. And I think it's the check to say if favorited, that top one. That's the condition, right?
That's supposed to be unload what happens to.
And put a weight between those two. So what should happen is it deletes the record, and then it'll go check to see if it has the record and run through the same flow to show it or not. So the nice thing about doing it that way is that you can then remove those first 2 actions out of this flow, because the condition is going to say, oh, we don't have a record, and it'll go back through the same cycle it did on page load then. So, and that general concept of when we do when we're doing things like this in terms of the flow, the structure of the flows on the page, I'll tend to separate out the flows to a specific function, right? So I have one flow to show as favorited, another flow to show as unfavorited. Then I have a flow that is a condition to check if it's favorited that does one or the other. Yeah. And then on favorite and unfavorite flows, those are separate flows. Also, at the end of those flows, I can just run that same condition. I can run the same condition on page load. It just makes those things reusable.
Yep. Yeah, I've done similar things with when I'm hiding or displaying all of something, a lot of the cycling of different components that I'll load separately. It's just the first thing is just hide them all, and then I reveal them one at a time.
Exactly. Yeah. We do the same kind of concepts for validation of form inputs. Same thing for all those things are I try to separate them as best I can for reusability. It also makes it, when you come back to this in 3 or 4 months and you're trying to figure out how something works, you know the structure you've typically build in. But that should do it. That should basically, as long as that condition is working properly, where it's checking if it's favorited or not, and you're either showing favorited or not. If that part's working, then when you click that, it should delete it. And then show it.
That part's not working yet, right? But I think I know what to do. I just need to do it.
Gotcha. No worries. We're happy to do it now, or you can do it later and chat in Discord. No
We
worries.
can, yeah, I could do it now. I don't want to like take up the whole time.
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
every-
There's not a lot for today, honestly. Not a lot of people said they needed help with stuff. I think there's one thing aside from you, Joshua. And then we were just going to be like, okay, let's go learn how to do this action, or you know what I mean? I was just going to pick things out of the air. So does anyone else have anything they want to work through or have questions on? Please chat it. See, look, Emmanuel, he's so nice. He's gonna go try and find something that he needs help with. So we've got time. We've got time, Joshua.
Okay. Oh, Alex has got something.
Do it. It's
Okay.
not
We'll
Web-
swing over to Alex. I'll be
Yeah.
here if you come back.
Okay, yeah, we can do
Nice.
that. We can jump over to Alex and then jump back. Web3 dev doc. No, sir, because we need like an entire office hours dedicated. Actually,
No,
like
sir.
a dedicated to the plugin, and then also for Jeroens. So let's just go. I will schedule that with y'all, but we're not going to haphazard do it. Are you kidding? These things are so awesome. Like, we need to show them properly. Okay, Alex, what you got?
Sorry, I'm just pulling up my screen here.
No, that's okay. And then let's
Probably
see.
in the middle of this one, I'm gonna have to jump off too, because I need to get out at like 10:30. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Dorian, I'll let you take this and I'll probably bounce in the middle.
Yeah, sounds good.
And Z Spaceman, if you are on, definitely chat so we can go through your Sendgrid stuff. Okay, go for it, Alex.
Well, I just found this yesterday, so I haven't even had like a look to see what's going on. But user has an invite, they get an invite link, they click this link, pops up. They should have, if my computer loads this up, here we go. They should be prompted to this page, and this data in here and in here should be loaded from an invite message that was sent from within the app. But I'm just noticing it's coming back this, I think it's a variable. So I don't know if I don't have it set properly with the path or what's
Yeah,
going on.
we can take a look, see where looks like where it's trying to get the values. It's either not on the page, and that's why it's just returning the reference instead of the actual value. So is this it here, the set value?
This is the page, and I should actually just look to see. Yeah, this should be it here.
So this is getting it
Email message.
from a different page.
Yeah.
Called email row. And before you run this action, are you loading that page?
The email row page?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, so that's
That'd be
why.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll need to load that, even if it's hidden, but just so that the page is there with the variable.
Okay. So email row, I don't know that it would even make sense. So I've got the row page, and then these are like those email slugs that it's actually on a different page that's pulling off of this email row. So maybe I need to load those.
Well, I think the reference is going straight to the email row, and it's looking for a variable in here, which is
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
And
There's
where
the
is this?
variable name.
Yeah. And this is just setting it using the concat. It's just text from inputs on this form, I'm assuming. Go back to the set variable action, the first one in that flow. So this is also getting things from a page or no, called fund invite. Where is that page?
This page. Uh-oh. That page is right here. So it's actually what the user types in here, and then I don't know what last
Is that-
one was supposed to be, but this
is
is
that
where the
being
text has come from.
Is that being stored in the database or just sent in the email?
I think it's just being sent, right?
Yeah.
Because it's just being set in variables.
I think the only way to do this then is to bring it back from the email in the link, you know, like the link needs to concatenate with that value in it. And then it's got to be, you know what I'm saying, Dorian? Like then query string
Yeah.
parameters come back and then you reference the query string instead of the variables. Something like that.
Yeah, because right now you're loading this dynamic fun page.
Yeah.
And it's trying to go get that value from that other page element that doesn't exist when you go directly to this page. Yeah.
So one of the things I've done on another page was, I think I had like a hidden container and I would load the email, like the slugs into that hidden container so that they were on the page and then it could reference. Would that work here?
Yeah, you could do the same thing. Is that just static text then in the slugs? Like it's not dynamic?
No, it should be dynamic because in
It's dynamic.
theory, it's coming from whatever that user enters into the form.
Can you go to the slugs page and can I just see how the data is being set into those? I'm just trying to understand like how this is structured. And go to like the flows and the page load.
Well, this is literally like so that I can pull these different like
But
slugs.
those values are just static,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, so they are static. And you're just trying to pull that static value from one of those elements on that slug page. Or what's
Just
the
let me
outcome
think
that you're
here.
trying to do here?
Basically have it so that the like this form loads up, the user enters in something in here, like a personalized message, and then they send it, and then it's popping into the email. Like this is where that text is loading into. They get this link, they click that link, and then this is
You're
where
trying to
that
get
text should
that
appear there.
text in here.
Yeah.
I see. Okay, then okay. So I just misunderstood. So it's what Mark was saying. We basically need to pass that value. So in your Sendgrid template, we basically just need to map data to the URL so that it grabs that value. When you first send, click that action here. How is it sending that? Is that just in the message?
Yeah, in that email message variable.
Actually, not. Let me go look at that. So we basically need to pass dynamic data so that we can reference a variable within the Sendgrid template.
Dorian, is Alex going to need to pull up his Sendgrid?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Alex, if you've got that open or you can log in.
Actually,
Yeah, I just need to go look at that Sendgrid action because I don't even know if that has the ability to pass that dynamic data. No, it doesn't. So the only things you can pass are just like the two reply from emails, the name of the form, the subject, the message.
my computer's melting down here.
Okay, so emails.
No, Abdo. It only shows you that the Sendgrid only shows you your API key one time when you're creating it. After that, they never show it to you again. And
You have to rekey it. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to create a whole new key if you forget what it is. But Alex, I'm pretty sure you've got that in a secret, right?
And all my API keys, everything is like tests, so I'm not
Yeah.
too fussed.
Abdo wanted some free emails.
Okay, so yeah, we can do it, but we would have to change that action. We couldn't use that send email Twilio Sendgrid action because that action doesn't have the ability to send the dynamic template data. It's an object, which is how you can push dynamic data to Sendgrid and then use that whatever key name and the value to populate it in anything within Sendgrid. So we'll have to change it to just using the standard API call. And we'll have to move this entire setup into that.
This sounds like this is becoming a bigger. It'll
take a while. We can do it, but I don't know how much.
Let's tackle this another time because I don't want to chew up the whole hour. And I thought this was like just had like fields misaligned or something like that. So
yeah, no.
Okay.
Because we have to have it in a variable in Sendgrid to be able to map that variable to the URL when the user clicks the link in the email.
Right. Okay. Let's tackle this another time.
Okay. Well, look, it's only 10:34. Kyle's is going to be real quick. And then we can jump back to either one of the things. And then, okay. So Kyle, you're also having an email thing, right? Are you up for showing us your screen and letting us walk you through it? Awesome. Okay. So Dorian, for this one, Kyle is sending an email out. It looks like it's kind of like someone signing up for a newsletter. Mm-hmm. And then I believe Kyle, just walk us through, like, you want to send an email out to this person. But I think he's got some of the inputs swapped out. So like, for example, can you scroll up in this one here? Yeah, I'm sorry, in the action.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, there we go. So right now, right now it looks like you may have yourself as the to email. As far as like the reply to, that really should actually be whoever is it. The reply to is like, all right, say the recipient gets this email and they try to reply to it. Who is that going to? So usually that's like a static value that's going to be like, and you can, I think you just do text. Let me see what the setup is. Yeah. But I think
it has to match the email that you have set up in Sendgrid, or else they will refuse to send the email.
Yes, and that's what you're seeing.
Not working.
Yeah.
Is that like the main issue here? I don't want to put that email in. This is like a business account, so I'm trying to.
Oh, gotcha. I believe so. If you want, you can stop sharing, put it in, test it, and then let us know.
Okay.
But I believe that's what it is, because Sendgrid's very like specific on like who's sending the emails, just for spam reasons and things like that.
And while you've got it hidden, let me just walk you through what those inputs are. So you can kind of like go through them. So the to email is going to be who this email is sending out to. So for example, when they sign up for this newsletter, I'm guessing this is an email that's like confirming that they've been added to the newsletter. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the to email, you're going to change that to be the email that you've got there statically. You're going to make that a from element value. So from the current page, you're going to grab the whatever that email address element is that they've typed their email address into. So that's going to be the value for the to email. The to is like the recipient of this email.
Yeah, so the to email is going to be the recipient that, oh, wait a second.
Right. And
That's
then
gonna
when
be-
you're testing it, you're just going to type your email in.
Yeah, so like in testing it, I'm just going to put my email as the to email.
Yeah.
Right. And then
Yes.
the reply to email has to be the email associated with the Sendgrid account.
Yes.
Exactly.
And
Okay.
the from email is the same. Okay. It has to be the email associated with the account.
Okay.
I actually think the reply to it can be anything, but the from has to be,
Gotcha.
yeah,
Yeah.
the from
Yeah, I think
has
you're
to
right.
be the account. Reply to could be like a different inbox. You could, maybe that goes over to like info at whatever the business is, or
Yeah. Yeah. I
whatnot.
think you're spot on.
Okay. From name is going to be the name of the business. So who it's from. And then I believe, let me see. I can take a look at your setup real quick. So subject you've got as text, message you've got it as text, that's fine. Yeah, the rest of what you have is fine. So I think that was the only thing, because it was getting the from address does not match a verified sender identity error when I was testing this.
Yeah. And that's exactly what it was.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna share it again just to make sure. And if people see it, I don't really care. It's car dealership.
You're like,
Buy
don't
a car.
spam it.
All right. All right, so let's share my screen. Where am I at? There we go. All right, you see it?
Yep.
Okay, so here's this on the action. All right, so this is the email associated with Sendgrid. From, did I mess this up? Is this?
Yeah, you want it backwards. Or well, yeah, the from email is the one that should match the Sendgrid one.
Okay.
And then the reply for now, you can leave it the same. It's fine. But
Okay.
you can change that to anything you need.
Okay.
And the name could be the actual name. It doesn't have to be an actual email.
Okay.
So in this case, it would be like the Walker Auto Group.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, gotcha. It's this project. Yeah, I've looked
I've
at
got
it.
so many different projects going on. I mean,
Yeah.
Aslan.
I don't even
Yeah, no,
tell you
that's a
how many
cool one.
different accounts I have set up with you guys because I just have to go back and forth through so many kids.
Yeah. This is the one where I fixed the users issue. that you
Yes,
submitted to.
yes.
Got it. Cool.
So scroll up, Kyle. There's one thing that we need to fix at the very top, and that's going to be the to email. Okay, so this has to be dynamic. Right now, it's always going to just email this email, regardless of what email address is typed in there. So this is what I meant. Let's fix this. And when you're testing, you're always just going to put your, like when you're actually previewing this page, you're going to put your email address into the
email field.
Yeah, so
email.
this is one of my emails that I
Yeah.
use.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And you
So
can
you-
leave it like this for testing. Just remember to come back and tie it to the actual email input later.
So what I mean by that is that's going to be a from, you're going to change that argument type to be from element value, and you're going to pull it from that actual email address field. Like that's the actual proper setup.
This is the proper setup.
No, in the to email, change that. Let's just
Yeah.
go ahead and fix it. Change
Okay.
that text to from element value. Yeah. And then, so what you're going to do is from the current page, you're going to, click email input. Okay. So what this is saying is, who is this email going to? It's going to be the value that has been entered into the email input field. And so what so this is the proper setup, meaning whenever it's actually being used, they're going to put their email address in. And when they click that button, it's going to send them the email, right? So just for you, if you want it to go to you when you're testing, just you type your email address in the preview, like when you put the name in and then you put your email address in, that way you can test it sending to yourself.
Got it. Okay, so I've got it, API is set up correctly. Okay, so now I should be able to come over here. I'll just refresh it.
Mhm.
Yep.
And
And that name, you can also map that to grab the value from the field. If you
So-
needed to, I'm not sure. Or actually, no, because that's the recipient. So actually, you don't need that one.
okay, so I don't have the actions like when this is successful, but
Yeah,
if I click this, this should now go to Sendgrid, right?
Correct.
yeah.
This count should increase.
Not the context list. It
Well,
should
hold
be
on,
under
I-
activity, right?
I think there's a missing piece here, and I think it's the fact that he wants to probably capture that email address
Yep.
into into like a list somewhere for being able
Yeah,
to.
so
send
like
out
in
different
Sendgrid, I
newsletters.
want, those newsletters to go to certain contacts in Sendgrid so I can send emails and all that good stuff.
Okay, so I think that is something separate, because what you've got here is you've got the email out, right? Of basically saying, hey, you've signed up for a newsletter. What we don't have is the actual signing up for a newsletter. So you're wanting them to be created as a contact here?
Yep.
Okay. Dorian, do you know how to do that?
No, but I'm looking up their docs right
Okay.
now to see how to do it.
I think we'll probably have to run a separate API flow.
Yeah,
action
because
for
we'll
that.
have to create a contact entity in Sendgrid.
Okay.
Yeah, because right now what that action does is all it's doing is just sending an email. It's not going to create a contact record in Sendgrid, but if you go to the activity list on the left there, that will show you all the emails that you're processing through your Sendgrid account. And then just click search at the top there, or show all activity, I guess it's fine. Shouldn't be much in there.
Okay.
So there's the
That's
one.
an email that I set up and I was just testing with Sendgrid, obviously. So that's one that I sent out.
Okay, while Dorian looks up how to create the contacts thing, let's go back to your preview, and I'm going to show you how to open the developer tools so we can look at what the response is for the sending of that. Okay, so click, yeah, perfect. And then you're going to go into network. Okay, and let's try sending this email again. So you can just click that button. And then let's click on the HTTP call. Oh, sorry. Do you see it down there? Name, under the name, HTTP call.
Oh, this right here.
Yeah, and then we're going to go into response. All right, and can you show me what that says? 202 accepted. So that should have worked, right, Dorian?
Yeah, it should be
Okay.
there.
Okay, sometimes it takes, I know this because I use Sendgrid for emails. Sometimes it takes a little bit for it to actually show up in the activity. You can stop showing your screen and check your email and see if you got it.
Oh,
Okay, I got the details on the
Awesome.
API to create a contact.
that's going. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I did get it. Oh, great. Sign me in. All right. So that worked. Oh, you're muted.
Or your mic's off or something.
Yeah, no, it's the, okay. So yeah, great. We've got that part down now. Dorian, can we walk them through the contact? It looks like we've got 12 minutes. I'm bad at math.
If somebody else has questions, they can go. I mean, I can
Yeah,
always.
you can just ping me on Discord.
Okay.
I have access to that project anyways, or I think I still do, and I can help you out. But yeah, that one will require just us using our standard API call action.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I'll just ping in Discord. I'm sure everybody's got questions. So I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, yay, Kyle, great. And you can remove me as a collab whenever you're ready. Okay, so what do we have? We did end up getting people having to do stuff. Okay, Philip, if you have to run, we can look at the image thing now if you have time to show your screen. Yes, okay, great. So Philip is having an issue. He's trying to upload this image using the image uploader, but it doesn't work for him. I tried replicating it and I can, it works for me. So I think we just needed to see kind of what was happening on his side.
Yeah.
I think I put a similar error in the group previously, but then I realized it was the type of image I was uploading.
Okay. Let's check it out.
Yeah. And before you upload it, can you open the developer tool so we can, hit cancel on that? And then,
I think it's the hashtag.
and then you can open those. What is this? It says Brave, or what browser is this? Not?
Yes, Brave browser.
I think it's the same shortcuts. If you do Control Command I, should open it. Or actually, sorry, it's Option Command I. There you go.
Oh, so you meant like within the browser. I thought that was like a feature.
No.
I
And
wish.
then on
I thought
the
that was a
right,
feature inside.
We can build plugins now.
on the right side, there's like the little arrow, two little arrows pointing to the right. Click on that and click on network. Should be the first option there. Yeah, perfect. Okay, and now let's go upload it.
I think it's a hash. It's got a hashtag in the name, Dorian. Though I thought we were stripping those
Oh,
out.
so that could be the problem.
Yeah, I should have been handling that. Let's see. And then in the network, click on that request there that says 1082. Yeah, and then click on the tab that says preview. It's kind of to the right a little bit. Yeah, you can drag that, make a little bit bigger. Yeah, click on preview and then expand the OBJ, which is the object. Yeah, and then Rex, expand Rex, and then 0. See where it says Rex right under object? Yeah, expand that and then expand the 0. Wrong. Yeah, I bet it's the special character. Let's try it without it and see.
So, yeah.
We'll have to handle that.
Yeah.
I mean, on my end, I probably should have tried to upload different images. I've only been trying to upload this one. And this has been loading for a little bit while longer. So
Yeah,
there we
that's
go.
what it was.
Good fix. Thanks, guys.
Or it was spot on.
All right. So let me write that
Appreciate it.
up because we should be handling that.
Yeah, it should encode those.
Here, right? We missed the old hashtag. Okay. Okay, we have like 9 minutes left. What do we got? Okay.
I got my favorite thing working.
Oh, nice.
Yep. So that's all working now.
Sweet.
You got the whole thing?
Yep. Yeah, I finished it.
Okay. That's super fast.
I do have a follow-up question about tag formatting or just formatting in general. It's CSS stuff. I know, I just can't figure it out.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know anything. That's not my jam. Dorian, can you help with the CSS stuff?
Sure.
And I think Emmanuel has a CSS question too. So let's see if maybe we can knock these out.
Yeah.
I'll just share and see. So right now, tags they're their own grid list, pulling up, displaying, but there's as you can tell, some of the tags don't wrap the text. It's probably just when there's like 2 lines of text, and I
Yep.
don't know how to format that. So one, the width is always, I just want it on always on 1 line, and
Yep.
then 2, where it comes into issue on other pages, it's using the same tags
Yeah.
in those situations, but it's actually overflowing the width of the
area.
for the actual like thing.
And is it just the text that's overflowing or the whole tag?
I think it's the whole tag. Let me just pull it up real
Yeah,
quick.
show me and we can.
So right here, the whole tag is overflowing.
Gotcha. And how do you want to handle those? Like, you want them to just
Go to
Group
another line.
down, or have a left and right scroll bar, or vertical scroll bar?
I think I just wanted to currently just drop to a second line.
Okay, so just wrap. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So show me start with the wrap. So click on the main grid element that's loading the tags.
The tag so that the tag itself.
Not the tag itself, but the parent. Yeah, that one.
Okay.
And then go to styling. And then so you have display flex. Okay, so click in the inline styling, and then put your mouse over new property and just type wrap. I think it's called flex wrap. Yeah, click on flex wrap. And then, yeah, probably that one there, the middle one.
There we go.
And then let's go refresh the one where it's overflowing and see if that handles that, or.
That looks good.
Yeah. And then for the text, can you go to the page where the text is too long? I just want to see what the issue is.
Yes, that was
This one here. Okay, so now let's go back to, the studio, click on the text label.
here.
The actual tag, here, and then let's look at the styling here. So I think on this one, we can probably just try the same thing and just do no wrap and see. I'm not sure if it'll handle that with text. We might need to do like text overflow or something, but.
So just add it, but don't do anything.
The first one.
Okay.
No, okay, go back. So I need to do it to the text. So remove that property. You just hit the 3 dots, delete, and we're gonna add a new property. I think it's called white space. So yeah, go up to the new property at the top. And then just type white dash space, And then in here, just type no wrap as one word, or, there is a select, so select no wrap. And now let's take a look at it.
Looks like I already fixed it. I can tell on the previews there.
Yeah, there you go. Cool.
Awesome.
Okay, great, Josh. Okay, Emmanuel, swapping over to you. We got 4 minutes. Go.
Sure, mine is less of a show thing and more for the YouTube people who will be looking for how to do this. But the context is, you come across all of these websites with these cool things to do, and then they have the HTML, and then they have the CSS. And I've put a link for an example of that. I just wanted to know what's the best approach to be able to take that kind of stuff and then transfer it into Bildr.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me look at the link. Let me see what it looks like. Is it just straight up CSS?
Sure. Yeah, it looks like it. I put 2 examples for like a tooltip, so you can kind of see generally what that looks like.
Yeah. And so the first one's just the class. Yeah, so you basically need to transform that into Bildr CSS, right? And it just depends. Here, let me show my screen and see if we can see that. So this is the link here, right? Can you guys see that?
Yeah, we can.
And so like, for example, this first one here, this is just one class in Bildr. Right now, we don't let you actually generate the names of the style classes, so it won't look pretty like this. Instead, the way we do it, I think it's .css underscore the actual GUID of the style class. So to accomplish this here, basically what you would need to do is go to an element, create a new style class, and then just give it the name that you want. In this case, it'd be tooltip. And then you would copy this here, which is the actual CSS. And you would paste that into the CSS tab for that style class. And that essentially gives you this first level type of class.
Would that be in like the default?
So this is just the primary style class, or it could be a utility, but it's just the style class. There's no states or anything like that.
Okay.
If we go into something more complicated, like this one here, if you notice, this is just referencing the first style class. And if you notice, there's a colon, hover, and this is referring to a state of the main style class that you set up. So in this case, and here, let me just go into a project here. And let's call it, or yeah, it's fine. Okay, so if we go in here, like for example, if we took this first one and I copy that, so this is the new class I created, I would just go into the CSS, paste that in there. I'll just clean up just some of the things there. And notice after I save that and I go to the properties, it brought everything in. So that's the primary thing. Then the next thing would be like if I'm trying to do, where was that other one? This hover state, which just has visibility visible. So right here, you can see this is referring to a state. The hover state, we have it built in, so you can just go to it. You will have to go to the CSS. You have to make sure to leave the selector and then paste that in. And then that now brought in the state with all the properties. If it's not the built-in hover disabled state, then you just go to more, hit the plus, enter the state, whatever you're trying to reference to, like maybe like first child or whatever the state is. And you would just go to the CSS, paste it, make sure to hit save. I always go to the use just to make sure everything's saved and everything was brought in properly. And then after that, you can just use these to modify the values if you don't want to edit the CSS.
And then for the text one, the one that you skipped in between the two.
So this one here, this is basically, it's another selector, but this is referencing the main class. And then it's applying this second style to it. The way I would do this is I would actually, so like the tooltip would be a primary class. I'd create this one as a utility class. So utility class with these styles here. Because then you can reuse those utilities anywhere you're trying to append the regular tooltip class and the tooltip text class.
Okay. In general, that's how you would break down the when you see these websites and with the CSS, that's how you would convert it from this code block into
Bildr.
styles. Okay.
Yeah, and some of them do get complicated where you sometimes have to like modify the selector value. So like right now, this has the style class and then after it .hover. But like if it was a selector only being applied targeting like a specific attribute that's applied to an element with this class, then to do that, you would just modify this selector part and just do brackets, whatever the name of the attribute is equals the value. You know, so there are some things like that. You just have to kind of know how
Or
those get
just
structured.
chat us the link and be like, hey, I'm trying to do this specific thing. And then I'm sure we can break it down for you.
Yeah. But yeah, some of them get pretty complicated, just depends on the setup. But anything you can do in CSS, Bildr can interpret because it's just stored in JSON internally, but it's still outputting it in CSS.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Okay, that is a wrap. If there's anything that we didn't get to, please chat us in the Discord and we can help you out there. Otherwise, have a wonderful rest of your week. Thank you for joining and we'll see you next week. Thank you so much, Dorian.
Yeah, no problem.
Bye, everyone.